another new pal, Eidolon Ignis. So this is what I was talking about a bit with Xiaolong here, falling off a little bit here into B tier. Eidolon Ignis is fire and dragon, and it can boost from both. So you take your two boosters, the ones that increase attack stat. You take the fire one, the Kelpsy, and you can take the dragon one, which was Quivern, I believe. So you stack those two, and you get the damage bonus from the partner skill from both. Also, being part fire is very strong. Dragon fire, a good combo. Two very strong exclusive skills as well. Dragon exclusives are very nice. One of the few dragon attacks that actually hits Libro. So phase 1 Libro, pretty strong against that because it has the exclusive skill dragon that actually hits Libro. And then in phase 2 being part fire just means that it's not weak to the ice damage. So just a very good element combo, great stats, great partner skill, great exclusive skill. So why is it not in S tier? Because S tier right now, we're reserving it for the pals that are just absolutely essential or standouts. Like you could have any combat carry pal here, really. And it does fall off a little bit once you start doing like the maxed out element swapping pals still, which we'll get to a little bit later. Normal Eidolon, the non-Ignis version, is part dark. So I mentioned it before, dark just not being that great. That's it really. They are pretty much the same pal. I do feel like the fire booster part here gives you a bit more options than the dark boosters, but you can do some pretty cool stuff with this one as well. Like you can throw in the kits on Noct all of a sudden and have a dark pal. So it is still good. I just believe that the fire combo is a little bit better than like losing the resistance to dragon instead. Gildane here in A tier. It's a bit of an effect from Anubis not being so great now with that partner skill. Like you want to use Gildane instead, in my opinion, when you're fighting like the Ryu fight when he's electric, when you're fighting So and Axel as an element swap pal. These pals, they do get a 50% attack bonus to the player, the Vixen and Anubis, the alongside you pals, but it's really like, unless you're winning in 30 seconds, you want to use these pals, which I mentioned before, and just bosses being stronger now. When I used Anubis and Vixen a bit, they tended to get really hurt or die. There was like having to re-summon them. Even against So, Anubis was suffering a little bit, unless you really come in overpowered. So, all these mounts, Pyre and Gildane, I'll stop talking too much about it now. I think you get the point. Gorirat in D tier. I mean, purely for the partner skill. There's a lot more options now to keep it alive. It's not as good as something like Noclum is. It just gives itself that attack boost. So not really much worth saying about it, really. Just a bit more survivable with all the new passives that were added to the game, like Immortality. Hoodle, down in D tier as well. Useful for these sneaky builds. It gives you bonus damage when you're hitting targets while not in combat. So you can like sneak up on something, and as long as you're one-shotting it, you can just keep on one-shotting stuff on the oil rig, for example. Enemy bases, a little bit slow to just go one target on one target compared to just, you know, going in with Meteor Rain, Comet Barrage, Double Blizzard Spike, having Wraith, it spams it again. But if you do want to sneak, it is an option. So it's up here in D tier because it has a use there in the endgame to be a pretty good pal. Phalaris, oh how the mighty have fallen. Very cool exclusive skills in version 0.7. Now they have been a bit more rebalanced, so not really stand out. I did say that Fire Pals wanted an exclusive skill, but this one, it tends to get stuck in the new tower rooms when I was testing it. It's also a tower boss pal itself, so no legend, no breeding stuff to it. Locked out of breeding patterns right now, which is something, in my opinion, I really hope they change. I do want my Legend, Phalaris, Orsurx, Eternal Flame, you know, breeding Comet Barrage, Double Blizzard Spike, all the good stuff. Even breeding Windage to it for the Ivy covered effect would have been nice. So it fell down a little bit. It still has good exclusives, but it suffers from this breeding thing.
The internet is full of travel hacks. Most of them are terrible.
Frostallion Noct is absolutely essential against Heartalis Phase 2, in my opinion. Like, you can win. I've done the Heartalis fight with a bunch of different pals, but these ones are the ones that are, like, best in slot against these raid bosses. and frostallion, of course, against Xenolord, and these two have been reworked a little bit as well. Frostallion,
Oh my
it still
god!
looks super strong, giving you
Oh
ice
my
damage, and then it also
god!
has the freeze aggregate skill here,
Holy
which I was
shit,
talking about
dude.
before. So when you're
We're
shooting from the
so
back of
good.
Frostallion, the player can
Shit,
freeze.
what is steel?
And
I stole
Frostallion not.
frostallion.
Did it get blind?
It was one
Might have gone.
try.
Wait, let me
Oh
double
my
check. It
god.
did get blind. So we
I
have
thought I was
Frostallion
here.
not shooting from the back of it. The target
Dude.
might miss. I don't think raid bosses
Oh
can
my
become
god.
blinded though. And there's not a lot of neutral stuff to fight with blind. So not something super useful, but the freeze effect is quite nice on Frostallion. Well, let's get Ignis. So I didn't have this one on the tier list originally, and then I went to fight hard mode Axel a little bit, and I felt like his most dangerous attacks were the grass attacks now. So I went in, we had the Aegiodron doing very well, we had some other like ground pals doing very well, but then he would use like Wind Edge, Reflect Leaf, stuff like that. So I decided to try out Velasca Ignis now, and it is very good. The High Breach, the exclusive skill, is good. It does have a fishing partner skill, but it's still decent combat stats. It's ice and fire. So just like, turned out to be a pretty good dragon pal counter with that. While also just not being countered by those grass attacks. Even that Sovid likes to use grass attacks as well if you're coming in with a ground pal. So this one just turned into a pretty good tower fighter here. Jet Dragon, still extremely high attack stat, but again, locked out of these cool breeding things. So no breeding exclusives, I've talked a lot about it, you know what I mean now. Cruagiro, this one has been reworked a bit as well. You still jump up high, it's no longer that dark booster pal, but it increases your super effective dark damage. So against Hortalis P2, phase 2, you bring your Frostallion, you do dark damage, super effective against Hortalis, and then you get bonus damage from having this one in the party. So it's again not essential like these pals up here, but it is very strong. Regular Cruagiro, so this one has a completely different type of partner skill. You bounce up high and you get bonus damage while in the air. So it's actually something you can combo here. You bounce up high and then you have your Gale Claw and you have some other pals we haven't touched upon yet that do combo pretty well with this. And while you're in the air shooting from a Gale Claw, you're just like pretty hard to hit for the bosses. A lot of the attacks, like especially Xenolord using Flame Wall, Ignis Rage, stuff like that, that doesn't hit you when you're floating around up in the air. King Paka, let's skip that one. King Paka and King Paka Chris, just decided to put them up here in the good combat pals because you can do some booster shenanigans. Melpaka now boosts both of these. So you can have your King Paka and 4 Melpakas, both of them actually. So the Melpaka boosts both now. It's like the Elissa B and Sweepa thing from before. So they stand out a little bit with that, but not like going up here because you're sacrificing some other boosters. You're using like 4 Melpakas. You could have had like any one of the booster pals here that are quite good instead. So it's mainly like they stand out among pals, but as soon as you start factoring in the player damage, they fall down quite a bit. Rio, so Rio has been reworked. It is now the same as Cruagiro Noct, but for dragon damage. And the reason it's a bit higher than Cruagiro Noct is because it can fight on its own. So you don't actually need to use it as a booster pal. You can build it for combat, and then when it's dealing super effective damage on its own, like against Victor and stuff like that, it boosts its own super effective damage. And then you also have the option of putting it in your party, and you run around and you're chilling, and you get bonus damage that way as well. So it stands out compared to Cruagiro Noct just by actually being able to fight a lot better on its own, and then you don't need to waste a slot on a booster pal. There are quite a few pals like this that we will see pretty soon. Normal Blasphemute, very different partner skill, pretty strong. When you kill things, you get stacks for the pals, the active pals, defense and attack. So it's also one of those, it could be a booster pal or it can fight on its own. You bring it to something like the Oil Rig, as mentioned with Marate. So you have your Marate running around, it's killing everything, it's getting stacks from Blasphemute for everything that you kill. I think it stacks up to 20 or 30 times or something like that. So just very strong when you're doing a lot of pal damage, like enemy bases and oil rigs. this is a great pal for boosting your main party pal. But if you're doing like player damage stuff, it does pretty much nothing. Soulmora looks in S tier. It's a new element conversion pal, just like frostallion, but it gives you electric damage. It is a mount, so it's not something you have fighting alongside you. It's not something that has any sort of great combat capabilities on its own. It's strictly a mount, but it is extremely good against phase 1 Hortalis and that final tower boss as well, because it has a very high swim speed, which is relevant in that final tower.
Make it cold.
With AC Pro, anyone can recharge their car's AC. Like a pro. Be a pro with AC Pro.
Do kids want to grow tall to reach the pros? Ha! Or to reach a Reese's?
Panthalus down in D tier, incredible stats, very cool exclusive skills, but you can't really use it for combat, so the only thing you can do with it is you summon it in your base, and it hovers around the raid bosses, it shoots some bubbles. From my tests, the bubbles did pretty decent damage if the boss wasn't moving around too much. And it can't really die as well, so you have this sort of, if your entire raid army, all 15 pals are dying, this one will always be attacking, which does add up. It is pretty nice for that, but you can't use it in tower fights, and like it's, for me, that just means that it's not, it gets down here. If you can use it in towers and stuff, like a small version, up here definitely, so many cool attacks, but this might be a little bit of my bias putting it down here. I want to actually use it and not just watch it fly around using one boring attack. Univolt, this one is the same as the Blasphemous Rio and Crotiro, except for electric damage now, and that is very relevant in the endgame against the final tower boss and Hortalis phase 1. So just one of these pals, like, it's not essential, but it is very strong once you are doing this electric conversion damage stuff. And also all these pals, as mentioned, they work for your pal damage as well. So if you have an electric pal that you're focusing on, fighting something water element, then they're also good boosters. Lumen, it makes your arrows explode. Also has a pretty decent attack stat, pretty decent exclusive skill, but it's purely up here for that partner skill. So when you shoot an arrow at the target, the explosion will deal 30% of the damage the arrow does, pretty much. So it means that arrows are now a very sustainable way of area of effect farming. You also get this, like, free 30% damage is not bad. It is very good if you compare to, like, you know, your Gobfins give you 20% attack stats, stacking with diminishing returns, etc, etc. Just 30% pure bonus damage that also gives you area of effect. Very good stuff. It's one of my daily drive pals. This one, like, I have my Jet Dragon mount, I have my whatevers, and then this one, so I can just shoot arrows at these little clumps of pals and usually hit all 3 at once. Relaxorus looks, this pal got a stat buff, along with the regular Relaxorus, so it's a bit stronger than it used to be. So that's why it's up here. Electric Dragon pal is also good, but the stat boost is nice. The saddle, I mean, it's not amazing, but it is, like, pretty high DPS for a little while. Herbil in A tier, so this one could have been down in E tier, it could have been S tier, it really depends on how strong you are, but since this is an endgame focused tier list, it lost out a little bit on S, but not gonna, or I am gonna spoil a little bit. It's just very useful against the hard mode of the last fight. We can put it that way. And then in raids as well, like if you're swapping your raid armies and you tend to die at the pal box, just anything like that, it is pretty useful for those like pals swapping at the pal box things when you're left out pretty, like, you can't dodge when you're doing pal box management stuff. Hortalis in C tier. Hortalis was really hurt by the skill rebalancing thing. So Holy Burst and Airblade are not that kind of standout anymore. Same thing really with the breeding stuff as well. Losing out on like all the Meteor Rain, Comet Barrage, fun stuff there. Purifying Light, also a very long cooldown. So it's not dominating the Master Arena. It's not dominating any raids now because the raid pals are stronger. So just lost out on being this like fun one-shotting palette. Since it doesn't one-shot stuff anymore, It just kind of fell off with the breeding changes as well. Lylene, let's take the other Lylene as well. The two Lylenes here, they do have very decent stats, but it's mainly for the healing effect that they are up here along with little T-Fun. Just healing is nice, and these also heal your party pals, which might be something you can build around. There are a couple of pals now that like to be low health, and then you can use these to sort of heal them up. Both player and pal healing is pretty nice. It heals all your party pals. D tier. It got a bit crowded down here. I should have made the D bigger, but oh yeah. So Valiant Tail. It reduces gravity. So this is the one I was talking about comboing with Croagiro. You bounce up and then you fall much slower. You have time to empty like an entire laser Gatling gun with it. So if it wasn't for the Croagiro having that partner skill, it wouldn't even be on this list. But with that partner skill, it's actually a bit viable. Not good for fighting on its own, purely as a booster pal, boosting together with Croagiro.
To Spirited Evenings, Razor Rocher.
You should fix your windshield!
Ophidia. This one had a interesting partner skill in the beta that got reworked, so now it gives the player soaked when shooting. And that is, like, I am not a big fan of those aggregate pals. It's nice when it's something like frostallion, you just get it as an added bonus. But yeah, so those aggregate pals, not my favorite type of pal. There's too much other options right now, but it's still up here in D tier because it does have very respectable stats. Grass water is a very interesting element combo. Exclusive skill is very cool, but it is a grass exclusive skill and there's still no ground bosses to fight. So maybe it will be a very viable raid army if we ever get a ground boss, but as it is right now, it's just a very cool pal with decent stats, but nothing really to stand out among all these SAB and C pals. Soline, not Celine, Soline. Probably the best overall pal in the game right now. So this one should be like S plus triple S, but I didn't have a picture with that. So Soline gives the player 80% attack. That's right, that's 4 Gobfins in it, as long as all your pals are unique. And that means you can do like Soline, and then you can have your Vanworth boosting headshot damage, and then your Mount, and then your whatever element boosting things. So there's a lot of options with Soline. And then it does have good combat stats, it has a decent exclusive skill on its own. It even has the best handiwork in the game right now, so just an all-round pocket peer favorite here. I don't think there's any reason to swap out Celine at any point of time, unless you want to do a 0 player damage type of build. Like, it should always be in your party. It's pretty much just a free double damage on the player. E tier with Stella. So this is another one of those boosters with a little bit of a standout thing. And the thing that stands out here is purely the learn set. It has Comet Barrage and Starmine in the learn set. Starmine is just a cool attack that you can't breed. It's like an exclusive attack that isn't an exclusive attack. So just the learn set there is very nice. You can actually just get out with Stella and start breeding Comet Barrage to other pals if you want to pretty early as well. Celine in D tier. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. They nerfed the partner skill, so you don't get that super duper Airblade Holy Burst combo stuff going on anymore. On top of that, they also nerfed Holy Burst and Airblade themselves. So just doesn't really stand out that well anymore. It never really had the most amazing stats. It was purely the partner skill, Holy Burst and Airblade, making it super duper good. But I guess it does still boost some dark damage. You can do some dark damage build, but then you still can't shoot from the back of it for some reason. So it's like, it just suffered a little bit in 1.0. Sweep up, same reason as King Pack and stuff. It's just up here because you can make it very strong, but it also, like, you're losing out on like a Celine if you had 4 Sweepa. So for all these pals, it's mainly like they stand out if you're not doing player damage, but it feels like then you're just restricting yourself from doing the majority of the damage yourself. So they are mainly just up here for very much pal damage enjoyers. Sylvans. This one is the counterpart pal for Dandylord was the name. So Sylvan's is a little bit better than Dandylord because the partner skill is a little bit better. Ivy covered pals explode. Right now that partner skill is, I think it's bugged, at least when I tested it last time, because it was being triggered by Terra Prisma and Drone Launcher, and it's a flat damage
Was that
explosion.
easy?
It's like the arrows from Lumen. So if you would have shot a rocket launcher and dealt like 20,000 damage and it's supposed to explode for a percentage of that, the internal cooldown is being popped instead by these like millions of Terra Prisma hits for like 2 damage. So suffers there, but the exclusive skill is very strong. It has 2 exclusive skills, and one of them is actually a very strong shotgun type skill that sends out a bunch of tiny little balls that explode. Very similar to Starmine, but it centers from the PAL, so very strong exclusive skill. And then the other exclusive skill isn't bad. Quite high single target DPS as well. Very good stat, so it's both a combat PAL and a booster PAL, but the booster part is a little bit bugged. Otherwise it could have been up here somewhere. Gildra in A tier. So this is one of those all-rounder pals. I've made some videos in the past with like Verdash and Noclum and Felbat being these pals work versus everything. Gildra belongs in that category. The partner skill is that when Gildra would have died, it instead revives back to full health, but with like 0 hunger. But then it just refreshes its food buff, which isn't bad as long as you have the correct food in your feed slot. So what ends up happening is that you can combo it with some other pals. You can have like 5 Gildras fighting forever. Just very strong as all the tower bosses once it revives. Like you don't have to run the exclusive skill. It does have a decent dark exclusive skill, but mainly you'll put like 3 fire attacks on it and send it out versus Björn. It dies, it revives, and then you swap to the next Gildra when this one is a little bit lower. I'll go through that build in more detail. It's just up here for the partner skill. Libero, an essential pal in my opinion, still the highest attack stat pal, I believe. Might need to double check that, but extremely high attack stat. And it has this effect that I was talking about with the Incinerams and stuff. It still has that extremely strong Nightmare Bloom. Very strong standout attack. Flame Waltz is not bad at all now. And it's also, in my opinion, pretty much essential against the barriers on Hartalis. Extremely strong raid army against Hartalis phase 2. Very good raid army in general now. There's so many good passes that not having legend doesn't hurt it the same as before. You'll just put immortality or diamond body with that immune to knockback and flinch thing on it. So it's just very high DPS pal now. Against tower bosses as well. Like I could go on and on about this one, but I think you get the point. And then Bellanor here. Could have actually been S tier. Why did I put it down here again? Because Nightmare Ray and Nightmare Bloom now have the same power, and Nightmare Ray tends to hit a little bit better even. So against some targets, this pal will actually be better. It's cause it misses out on Flame Waltz that I put it down here. So if you don't care about Flame Waltz, you might as well have it S tier, but it did lose out a little bit just by not having Flame Waltz. And now with the skill rebalances, that is not great. Bakemi. This one is the one I was talking about as well with comboing some poison stuff. So you have your Bakemi. When a target is poisoned, it reduces that target's attack stat by 80%. So if you have like Dandylord, you cause the poison effect to the target. Then you have 17 seconds of taking almost 0 damage, which is just extremely strong. Then you could even swap to something like Felbat, or you could have a Felbat with like Poison Shower. And you could use this one. You could have your Mena Sting fighting as a main combat pal. It has poison on the exclusive skill. So you can do a lot of poison builds here. Which means that, like, you can also time it a little bit better with Dandylord. That is one thing worth mentioning. Like, if you're worried about the clone phase of, let's say, Victor or Saya, you know about, like, the health threshold when that phase appears. You activate the poison ability, and then you got like 17 seconds of taking way less damage from both Victor and his clone if you poison them. So a lot of options here for timing with some in-game knowledge here with this pal.
Staying organized on one screen can get messy fast, especially when you're working on a school project.
Next pal here is Leafon in C tier. So Leafon could have been kind of like Gildra, I guess. It has this partner skill again where if you stack grass pals, it gets a stat bonus of 4 grass pals in the party, and it is very good. the sad part is that there wasn't really 4 grass pals worth stacking with it. Like the Sylvans was a little bit bugged and stuff like that. You had the Needle with the Ivy covered effect, but you would prefer to use like a Vixen with that. So it is a pretty good all-round pal like Gildra against all the tower bosses, but the exclusive skill being grass as well, there's nothing to fight with grass. And there are just better options for this sort of all-round pal, but still up in C tier from D tier, because it does work out pretty well. If you do really like this pal, and you can add some of the other grass pals. Have we gotten any of the really good grass, like Herbil for example? I'll mention them when they pop up, the other grass pals. So Lavender, same as Felbat, now even more similar to Felbat because they changed it from neutral to dark, which I don't like. But it is what it is. It's now a dark pal, so nothing really putting them apart except for Felbat just having better stats. Still prefer Lavender though, just for the memes. I do like that pal, it is a fun pal. Neptilius in A tier. So this one's exclusive skill, the Talisonic Laser, is still a standout skill. It does a little bit higher damage than the tooltip implies. The other part of the partner skill, the spears that shoot out when you shoot, those are still terrible. They still deal like 3 power, so like a 10th the damage of what the basic filler attacks do. So not an essential pal in any way, but still one of the strongest combat pals. Just with that Talisonic Laser, if you're fighting like the Rio fight or something, but it would be in S tier if not for the breeding thing that I've covered quite a bit, so no Comet Barrage on it. Comet Barrage is just so good, like, that if you can't have it, then you end up suffering a little bit. And none of those, like, really fun passives for it either. Like, you can't get the new 30% water element passive. Tropical. So it increases the time that you are not taking damage while dodging. So if there's certain attacks like Astral Ray before that you just couldn't time the roll to not take damage, now you can with this pal. It would have been S tier, but there are other options now where you can actually tank the damage. So for me, I do think it's fun. Like against Xenoloord, you got your frostallion, you got your ice boosting stuff, all that stuff. You got your Celine. The last slot, it could be a Tropical. It could be like a Kit's Unlocked, if you do want something defensive. But it could also go like Vanworm, Celine, Frostallion, Ice damage boosting pal, pure offense, because there's a lot of like defensive accessories and stuff. So there's actually the Phantom Ring accessory, which does the same thing, maybe a little bit worse. But yeah, this pal can be replaced by an accessory. It does have an exclusive attack as well. It's not terrible stats, but grass, as mentioned, nothing to fight. E tier, a booster that stands out. Robin Quill, boosting arrows. We can take this one well. Robin Quill and Robin Quill Terra. One boosts the arrow damage and one boosts how quickly you shoot arrows. And that's just like Niafia here. The bows and arrows may be not that good against the absolute endgame bosses, but it is an option. And you can also have them fighting next to you and not waste a slot on a booster. So really you can it depends really, like comboing it with Lumen is pretty good. Just a little bit stronger than like bringing a random Gobfin or something. Pierdon, this one increases the damage you deal to muddy targets. So it's also one of those like stand out pals a little bit, just like Needle was. The rest don't really stand out that well in my opinion, but Pierdon, it is up here because they can fight alongside you. So just like Rio was, it's up here because it's not a terrible fighter at all. It does have a very good exclusive skill if you summon it close to the boss. It's like a shotgun skill. So you can bring it against So and not waste a slot on a booster. You can actually have it fighting alongside you. It will cause the muddy effect on its own instead of taking a slot. Bushi Noct was the next Bushi up here, yeah. So Bushi Noct could easily have been up here as well. It's the same thing with AI Giri, like the Incinerams, very strong high DPS attack. I think I put it Bushi Noct in D tier because I was just tired of the dark pals. Like, you don't want to use Bushi against most bosses that have like the Meteor Rains and Comet Barrages and stuff like that. I am probably being a little bit biased against it compared to regular Bushi, but the partner skill as well, it increases the melee damage to targets not in combat. So it's kind of like Huddle, the not in combat thing. but with melee, so you're gonna have to sneak up behind and stab people with that partner skill. So maybe could probably move Bushi knocked up here, but then you get hit by a random meteor rain and it's not so fun. Palladius D tier. It was never that an amazing combat pal to begin with, and now with the breeding changes, not gonna go too deep into that now, we've already talked about it a lot, but Palladius, good stats, but not a good exclusive, and just no breeding patterns.
Baker Mayfield, what is going on? Your career is in jeopardy. Not every man knows.
Prickster looks up here with the Vixen here. A little bit better than Anubis, because just like Vixen, it can do a combo with the Soaked Aggregate. You give this one a bunch of water attacks, it soaks the target, you activate the partner skill, and you're dealing a bunch of extra damage, especially together with this Univolt. But the reason it's not up here is just that once the partner skill fades away, you're just left dealing white damage, and then you have like a wasted pal doing nothing, because you're not doing electric damage anymore. So if you can kill a target in 30 seconds, very good. Prickster, it works with the poison build. It increases your damage to targets affected by poison. The reason I don't rate it super duper high is because, like, causing poison itself, you're either bringing like a poison crossbow, you have to waste a skill slot on your combat pal on poison. Poison doesn't work against raid bosses, but it is pretty cool. Like, I do recommend trying a build with the Dandalore, the Prickster, the Bakemi, and then you always want the Selene. Like, just add Selene, never remove it. Put in the first slot, all your pals. Selene, 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 Selene. Very overpowered pal. Ew, how the mighty have fallen again. The Gobfins. And they're not bad. I think, actually, they're still the only booster pal you can stack. Unless they change that. Like, you can still have 5 Gobfins without any worry. Like, all the others, like the Bristlas boosting grass damage, they don't stack. But Gobfin stacks. So you can do a lot with Gobfin still. And it does have these, like, partner skills where it boosts. It's something people sleep on a little bit. The boosted Aquagun and the boosted Spirit Fire. You could actually do a Gobfin Ignis raid build against like Cartalis or Phase 2 Libero. And Gobfin itself against like Rio. Pretty high DPS on those attacks actually, but mainly just fell off because there's better options now. Like, instead of the Gobfins, you do want the Selene, and then you want the Danworms, you want these Univolts, you want the Krajira Nox. Like, these type of pals just did a little bit better than the Gobfins. So they're just old. They're old, they fell off. They got... It's power crept, maybe is what I'm looking for. Power crept. La Pure. Not a water pal. Even if it sounds like a water pal in the name, it's blue, the learn set is all water. And it did have Ophidia's partner skill. So this one had the soaked aggregate and this one had the reduced partner skill cooldown. They changed it around. So now this one is purely up here. There's no exclusive skill, it's not a combat pal. It's up here because it reduces the cooldown of partner skills. So you can combo it with Gildra, you can combo it with these Prickster looks. Like, it really depends on like the missiles, all these partner skills with cooldowns. So it's really one of those, like, it's up to you how strong this pal is, because it depends on what pal you're using with it. Like, even spamming Nightmare Bloom on repeat might be worth it with a La Pure if you're dealing overkill damage anyway. Bastigor in C tier. Ice pals are still not great. And again, there are no breeding patterns, but yeah. Ice pals suffering a little bit. I've touched upon that a lot in previous videos. This is an Elizabeth. It just looks weird. I think I took the wrong picture. But it's just like Sweepa, the King Packas. Not much to say about the B-Guard Elizabeth combo. Finsider Ignis, everyone's favorite S-tier pal, but not because of Trigger Happy. Trigger Happy, very nerfed. Not good anymore. Very low combat stats. It's here for the partner skill. Increases your super effective damage, just like the Univolt and the Rio and everything like that. That's why it's up here. Useful for boosting super effective damage. Not a combat pal at all anymore. Trigger Happy got nerfed very heavily. And just regular Finsider. This is an element conversion pal now. It's like the Anubis and the Vixen, but the reason it's down in D tier is because of the stats. So it does give you water damage, but unfortunately the stats are so low that, like, you'll activate it against Rio and then just one random little area of effect takes care of this one. No trigger happy worth using, so for a fighting alongside you partner skill pal, it is just very weak. Turtical Terra. This one is the one that increases your super effective damage against electric pals, which is very relevant. We have So, we have Axel, Zoe, apologies, Zoe. It's engagement bait when I say so, I promise. Zoe. But yeah, there's the Rio fight, phase 2, so it does have some relevance in the end game. It is the booster pal, not something you want fighting on its own. Rayhound Christ stands out a little bit among the booster pals because it has decent combat stats and a very decent exclusive attack. So you could have this one as a pretty tanky, actually active fighting pal. You could even maybe use it as a raid army if you want to see these like very cool exclusive skills that it uses. Has the bite attacks. Those aren't good, but they are cool, especially since it's ice. But yeah, just a stand-up booster pal right there. Orsurk, everyone's favorite raid army pal that has now become a booster pal. So just like Finsider Ignis, it is still a good combat pal. It does have good combat stats, it has the right elements. I believe it also got a stat buff in this 1.0 update. But it's mainly about the partner skill that once it's in your party, when you shoot stuff, and this includes the Fair Prism and Drone Launcher, you stack up to 30 times this attack boost thing, which ends up giving you 150% bonus attack and bonus defense to the pal fighting alongside you, which is almost like giving your pal the Knockland bonus. So if you have a strong pal fighting alongside you, let's take this Aegiron. Let's actually take Eidolon Ignis here. You have Eidolon Ignis, and then on Orsurk. Orsurk is a dragon pal, so it will boost it with its partner skill. And then on top of that, just plus 150 stats in attack and defense that are just always up because your drone launcher is doing damage consistently, like always doing damage. Just an extremely strong partner skill. So if Celine is like the best player booster pal, then Orsurk is definitely the best pal booster pal. Because you can like picture, if you compare it to all the other booster pals, they're giving 30 defense, 30 attack, 150 defense and attack. Very strong.
Have you ever heard about the pride of Hershey? A small boy came.
But yeah, you can't breed for it anymore. They removed the breeding combo. If you have a legacy Orsurk with Legend and Meteorine, keep it, because you can't get that anymore. Jormuntide Ignis or Germantide Ignis. Jignis. So the Jignis, still A tier, especially now that big pals don't suffer as much from area of effect anymore, but it's mainly up here for the boosting capabilities again. It is actually one of these, just like Rio, that can fight alongside you, like against Lily, the slithering thing, the magma slither serpent thing. Exclusive attack, fire, very good, fire dragon, very good element combo, very high stats. And then the partner skill now means that you deal bonus damage to targets that are burning. And burn, another one of these 17-second aggregates. Just being a little bit stronger than the other aggregates with this type of pal. 17 seconds, the others are 10 seconds. And then blind and freeze are like 4 seconds. So just up there with everything going for it really. Could have been up here, but just not strong enough to be S tier. Like it's not essential in any fight, it's just very strong in a lot of fights. And I feel like Eidolon Ignis kind of just replaced it as the strongest dragon fire. But this one has a fire exclusive attack, which is very good to have if you're a fire pal. Regular Jormuntide. Same thing as the Germantide, but this time for soaked damage, I believe. Let me double check. I shouldn't have double checked, I was correct. It gives you bonus damage to soaked targets, so it is pretty cool to combo it with the Trickster looks. Like you're dealing electric damage, you soak them, you get the bonus soak damage, just like the Ivy covered with the Vixen. It's just that you're dealing super effective damage right to water pals, and water pals can't be soaked. So should I move you down? Boop. Alright. Moldron, let's take the next... Oh, okay, I spoiled a little bit. We got Moldron, Christ, and Moldron. So, very different partner skills. Moldron Christ is the one that gives you this ice damage bonus against Dragon Pals, both for itself and the player. So against Xenolord, you got your frostallion, you got your Celine, you got your Moldron, you got your headshot boosting pals, and then you're dealing massive amounts of damage. But then, on top of that, Moldron Christ and Moldron have two of the best exclusive attacks in the game each, in the Ice Spit and Ice Laser, and Magma Spit and Magma Laser. Extremely strong attacks. So it's a very good raid army pal as well. It can fight alongside it in the party. Like mentioned with Rio, you don't need to do the frostallion boosting thing, because it's perfectly capable of fighting on its own. And then you just do Moldron. You get it is a dual element pal. So something I don't think I mentioned so far is that dual element pals with the new booster mechanic are just straight up stronger than mono element pals, because you can now bring two boosters. You can bring one for the ice element and one for the ground element, since they don't stack. Same thing here. You bring one fire, one ground booster. Just a lot stronger. Like these pals with one element, like this one or the leaf one, they can only have one booster. Dual elements can have two. So they are just very strong with that. And then Moldron, the normal one, the partner skill is different. This one is just like the Eidolon Ignis. The more fire or ground pals you bring, the higher it boosts itself. So they just do an incredible amount of work with their exclusive skills, with stacking the boosters, the like partner skill. They got everything going for them as both party pals and raid pals. Probably the ones I think you should start breeding first, because I believe they will get nerfed. Chill It. Very much a fan favorite, and now definitely S tier. Still the only dragon conversion pal, and I feel like it is pretty much essential against Libero. You can still do it without, but I highly recommend using it so you don't lose aggro against that raid boss. Good against Saya, good against Victor. Also has a couple of new passes making it more viable. Like before, I didn't really like using a Saya. It would get clipped by something and then it would flinch, stand still, get hit by the next attack and die. Give it some diamond body, immune to flinch, give it some idiosyncratic, it heals right up. Just works very well with these new passives. Loop Moon, let's take the next one. Loop Moon and Loop Moon Christ. They have a good exclusive attack, like the Iaigiri, the Hellfire Claw boosted with the partner skill. And then on top of that they also boost melee damage. So melee is terrible though, so you don't really care about that. But they do stand out as combat pals by having these very strong exclusive attacks. Not great in terms of stats, so maybe not something you want to throw at Xenolord anyway. But still, they stand out among the other pals just because they have access to these two good exclusive skills.
Discover the sophistication of Citra only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces!
Good day, sir.
Oh, wait. You like Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar?
Running out of space here, but I think you can see Xenogard up here. It boosts energy weapons. So I'll put a little bit of a list here of there are certain weapons that count as energy weapons, and they just happen to be extremely good, especially the plasma rifle. So boosting energy weapons, if you're not using an energy weapon, it's not good at all. So yeah, this one is just great in the endgame when you're using an energy weapon, but the downside is that the drone launcher, which is a pretty big part of your DPS, is not an energy weapon. So I'm not sure how it compares to adding something like just another Gobfin, which boosts both the plasma rifle and the drone launcher, but sometimes you're out of range for the drone launcher as well when you're flying around. So A tier pal, and not a bad stat and learn set anyway. C tier here, Celestial Noct, an extremely interesting partner skill. It gives your pal 80% attack, I think it was, but it drains its health. So while it's in the party, you send out a pal, the pal starts losing health, but it has a little red glow, and the health starts to drain. So usually you just bring something else, because the health drain can be a bit annoying, but it does work very well on certain pals, like the Gildra here. It works pretty well on something like the Gory Rat, and if you give them this sort of the new Immortality passive, which increases their health regen and gives them the vampiric effect. So you can sort of offset the health drain, but 80% stat, pretty good. Still not Orsurk level though, with 150 in both stats just for free. It's just 80% attack. Sibilix just up here for that boosted Blizzard Spike, and it depends on the target. Sometimes Blizzard Spike just doesn't hit the spike, then it's a very terrible pal. If it does hit the spike, like it can be pretty good against Axel and stuff like that. Sylvegas up here, rework partner skill. It now buffs the player's shields, so you take less shield damage and it regens faster. So against something, and I use Xenolord as an example a lot, but that's because it's a pretty tricky fight with a lot of mechanics. If you get hit by Astral Ray, your shield is gone, you can just fly away a little bit, and your shields come back a lot faster with this one. So it's one of these defensive pals like Tropico, that it falls off a little bit in the end game because like defensive builds in general, once you have all your accessories and stuff, are not super important. But you can do a lot of great stuff with Sylvegas. And then on top of that, it's just a good dragon pal. Like the exclusive skill is good. Runs Meteor and Comet Barrage very well. So a pretty good raid army against Xenolord as well with Meteor Rain, Comet Barrage, and the exclusive skill. Creolink's Terra. So this one is just a better version of the Vanworms. This one, the partner skill says that like once you get a headshot, the next headshot will deal bonus damage. And if you're using the plasma rifle, just shooting headshots repeatedly, it's just a permanent, I believe it was 60% damage increase for these headshots. And then this is when it starts to scale really with the player damage. Like you've seen a lot of these pals now. A lot of the pal damage stuff is fun. Like you got your King Pakas, your Sweepas, it's a lot of fun. But then you have 80% player attack damage, you have super effective bonus boosting, you have headshot boosting stuff, you boost your energy weapon, like so much player boosting stuff. And that's also why the Gobfins have been falling off. Because you just have so many good options now, really with what build you're using. Like you're boosting your IV covered damage, which is already super effective. So many like things just scaling way out of hand. And I love it. I love being overpowered. Speaking of overpowered, Noclem Ignis, let's add Noclem here. Noclem Ignis gets 210% defense and attack while active. This one 200. Not noticeable at all due to the diminishing returns of the stats, but also Fire Pal with a fire exclusive is very nice because the fire skill fruits aren't great and there's a lot of stuff fire is super effective against. And this one as well. Like you can have your Noclem Ignis, 2 of them, you can have one with the Pure, you can have the Celestial Noct. It doesn't care about that health loss, it just heals it up with the immortality anyway. You boost it with all kinds of shit, like 150 in both stats plus 210 in both stats. And then why not like throw that Kelpsy Ignis or whatever, giving you the 30% fire as well. Like lots of options for this one, and this is the one that's really the Gildra pal I was talking about, the one that works against everything. You pick Noclem or Noclem Ignis, you max them out, probably 2 of them, you give them the immortality, the skill fruits, whatever, and you can breed all the stuff to them. There's not locked out of breeding, Comet Barrage, Meteor Rain, all the cool stuff. So yeah, there's still just this triple S tier pal damage stuff. Oh, that was the last pal. So we went through all of them here. Might have done some oversights, like I'm not sure what the soaked bonus here was really about. Maybe I just didn't consider the electric thing there with the soaked bonus. I might be like overthinking things a little bit, but yeah, pretty happy with this one. Any feedback is welcome, I'll probably ignore it. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.
The probability of me understanding this is 0.
You should AI.
Yeah. Ha. Ha.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finally got an update for the release of the game. Power World 1.0 patch notes are here with the official launch trailer. We already covered this one. This is going to be a really long one. We talked about these patch notes. The community manager has mentioned how long they are and how much they had to prune them to fit Steam. So here we go. Let's start off with the new Sunreach Isles. This is the floating isles. I'll show you guys on the channel where to find them. The devs have talked about wanting to add this to the game for a while, so they're finally here. These are going to be found in the south of the map. I'll show you in a separate video. The World Tree area, everyone's familiar with the final area of the game. It is finally here. Revamped world, so they added ancient ruins that have mini games and unlockables, including puzzles. They have watchtowers, which give you vision of the map once you activate them, and they're permanent vision. There's new small islands, including a volcano island. So some of this was part of the spoilers. If you paid attention to this channel and you saw the leaks, it looks like the leaks were really accurate. So we've got new settlements as in new towns. I'm gonna go through these quickly because it's a lot. Wildlife Sanctuary overhaul, I have a video on that as well. So far the leaks are accurate. The Wildlife Sanctuary now, when you invade it, if you get detected, you get trapped in the bubble. So that's a big change to Wildlife Sanctuaries there. There's 3 of them. Rebalance pal habitats. What is this? Placement of spells through the world. Okay, so they rebalanced as pal spawns. That's good. Increase player level cap to 80. Matches the leaks. Other adjustments. Let's see. Liftmark effigies has been reworked to pal effigies. You can collect effigies by plus and enhance player stats. Oh, that's really good. So now you can collect various effigies and have the player stats instead. So you gotta adventure through the game to buff the player. That's really good. So to buff the player character, you need to adventure now instead of just doing the statue of Anubis. That's really good. Added an animation effect when picking up pal effigy. Okay, so now you have to explore the map to buff the player. That's good. Rebalance treasure chest dungeon rewards at M drops. Really good. Adjusted improves dungeon layouts and lighting. Great. Towers now have been cleared, now display a different color. Okay. When a random dungeon is open, its entrance now display more clearly. Good. Thank you. 15 entrances to random dungeons through Fraybreak. Fraybreak now has new dungeons. That's really, really good. Improve the layout of some random dungeons that were easy to get lost in. Okay, let's go through these quickly. Predator pals no longer fixed location. They now span a little bit across the whole map. That's really good, especially for speed runs. Junk and salvage pals are now easier to find. Okay. Move the Free Pal Alliance to Crescent Moon Shore. But a lot of changes here. Rename Forgotten Islands to our island. Chile. This is not important. Remove the Great Evil Statue from tower bosses. Improve map visibility. Okay. You can now earn exploration experience when clearing dungeons and enemy bases. Fast travel points. New fast travel points. Change the appearance of red berries to make them easier to talk. Okay. Let's move on to missions and story here. Major rework of main missions and story flow. Now you got to clear towers to clear quests, I believe. Fighting tower bosses in the path leading to world now connect more naturally. So improved quest line here. New submissions and NPCs. We already saw some of that being added. Other adjustment is roomlet pals. So let's move on to the juicy stuff. 72 new pals. That's crazy. 47 and 25 new variants. That's awesome. Awakening. This is for the leaks. The leaks were accurate so far. 1-to-1. 100% accurate. Awakening lets you trade in pals here further. Inside the world tree, you gather radiant gems to use them on your favorite pals to awaken their hidden power. Okay, so a collectible on your favorite pal to awaken with radiant gems. You can actually pick a pal that you really like and make it even stronger. So you can make a perfect pal with this mechanic. Mutation, again from the leaks, also accurate. Mutated pals have a low chance of producing a pal stronger than a normal breeding result. They have higher stats and a unique passive skill. So this is the new perfect pals right here. Mutated pal are perfect. We're going to have to throw the old pals against the new raids to see how they fare. Non-perfect pals. New cakes with special effects. So mushroom cake increases likelihood the new pal will have higher stats. Okay, so that's IVs. Vegetable cakes produces 2 pals at once. That's good. Deluxe cake increases the likelihood of mutation. There we go. So this idea, a lot of people floated this. Cakes to do different things. Increases likelihood of mutation and makes stat growth more likely. So this one's going to be the best one in my opinion, the deluxe vegetable cake. Special cake increases the chance of inheriting multiple passive from pal parents. This is not that important. This one, the deluxe vegetable cake, this is where it's at. Right here. Mutations will make pal breeding more involved and exciting for players to want to raise the ultimate pal. Yep. This is it. Deluxe vegetable cake. Major rework of partner skills. Thank you. New detections type skills for Nox. Hold on, what is this? Added new partner skills to over 200 pals. That's awesome. So now diversity is going to reign. That's really good. So new detection type skill. Nox gets a new one called Kudiri. New, when activated, detects location in your pal effigies. It's really good. Nox is on the top tier because you can now hunt effigies better. Partner skill, damage boosting skill. Xenolord, Meteor Wing. Can be reading as a file. Oh, wow. So Xenolord is now really good. While in party, damage done by partner skills of weapon wielding increases by 20%. Okay, so Xenolord in the party. Wait, so now Xenolord no longer oh, he's still a flying mount. Okay, thank God. So he's still a flying mount. So now he boosts the damage done of partner weapon skill. So multiple Xenolords in the party might be really good to boost the swordfish. New partner skill for Kitsun. In party, player in party take 50% less ice damage and immune to frozen. Wow, okay, really good. So Kitsun, a tank. New Orzurk. While in party, hitting an enemy with a bullet increases attack and defense of a pal fighting alongside you by 1% for 5 seconds, up to 30 times with itself. So while in party, hitting an enemy with Orzurk now, a partner skill for weapons, increases attack and defense of the pal fighting alongside. So Orzurk, a booster pal now for weapon players. That's really good. Sylvegus. Reduces shield regeneration delay by 30% and reduces damage taken by your shield by 65%. Wow. Wow. Sylvegus partner skill is amazing. New Cinemoth. When activated, attacks an enemy with poison fog. Increases farming or ability base pals by 1. Okay, pretty good. Rebunny. New. While in party, increases attack on neutral pals by 15%. Okay, so now Rebunny is better?
There's another way. Discover another Hendrix.
The judges of worlds bestowed a title upon me, child.
Oh, and also adds increases handiwork. So increase attack of neutral pals 50%. So that's new. While the base increases handiwork works ability by +1. Okay. Fall damage, accelerate, nullifies fall damage. Okay, good. Beyond these examples, many other effects have been added or refined. Okay, so they couldn't list all of them. Apparently, it's too many. So now these are examples of builds that you can do with the partner skills. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's no way that the testers got to everything. There's too many combinations. We got to see what the partner skills are, really. They couldn't get everything on the list here. So yeah. Fishing build, element builds. It increases the defense of water pals. So you got new partner skills for Gloopy and Penguin Lux. That's really good. So now breeding variety is really strong. Let's move on to balance adjustments here. Increase the item amount of activated pal alongside target pal. It activates just by having the pal in your party. This makes it easier to build team to explanation. So increase drop item amount effect. Doesn't need to be active anymore. It's just from the pal being in the party. Increases the chances of obtaining seeds. Violet drop seeds while ranching. Okay. To make progression materials easier early on through ranching, we added durability to some pals. Okay, so more increased ranching pals. For some pals, such as glider enhancing pals, the follow-up on the player's crafting pal gear is no longer replied. So you can do gliders and some mounts now without the harness. For partner skills that perform follow-up attacks, follow-up damage can no longer finish off a pal. That's really good. That means you can do mercy hits. They will no longer kill pals. Adjustments to specific effects. Player healing effects of pals such as Battalion Lightning have been changed from a fixed value heal to a percentage-based heal. That's really good. So the player healing effects. Jet Dragon's aerial missile has had its power increase, the cooldown shortened. You can now legit power attacks with a better tempo, improving. Okay, so Jet Dragon got buffed, the partner skill. Rochor's charge has been better for ore. Mima can open treasure chests, so it's a key to unlock everything. New passive skills. Okay, here we go. New passive skills have been added. Powerful passives with entirely new characteristics have been introduced. So these are just examples. Wow, look at this one. Light-footed. Increases jump while rating the spell. Reload. Increases parallel real speed. Really good. Okay, new category. World Tree passive skills has always been added. These are incredibly powerful passive skills, but they come with a cost. For example, Twin Edge Holy Blade. Attack plus 50%. In exchange, defense decreases. Okay. Dimensional Leap. Movement speed plus 50%. In exchange, hunger decrease. So this is the best base for wet base pals. Hard work speed 90%. Oh, so we got top end. Look at this one. Attack plus 50%. Twin Edge Holy Blade. This is what you want for DPS pals now. But defense decreases. We don't know how much though. Many new pal motions. So a lot of animations added, including for the 47 new pals. Major improvement to writing controls. We're just gonna skim over this because this is just an improvement. So suitability overhaul. Work suitabilities have been expanded to 10. So the leak was real for this as well. People doubted me on this. That's real. Adjusted capture bonus requirements. So now it's the number of capture completes you need are lower. It's a 5. So XP curve is gonna go down, gonna go up faster. You're gonna level up faster because it's up to 5. You can capture 5 of the same pal and get the XP. Adjusted condensation brought down to 48. Major speed up here for raids and for condensation. That's huge. Other adjustments and improvements. When the player remains idle for a period of time, party pals will now also stop and face the player. Okay. Change inheritance rules for skills when breeding. Inherited active skills are now randomly selected from 3 active skill slots on Sarah. Okay. Greatly reduce the cost of resetting a pal souls. So now this is resetting pal souls costs less gold. Halved incubation time for normal and hard difficulty worlds. That's huge. Increased elemental damage of Divine Heaven, Flame Emperor, Sea Emperor, Thunder. What? Divine Heaven. This was Palladius's. Oh, it got buffed. I told you guys that Celestial Emperor was going to be good. So now the elemental damage bonus of the legendary passive skills are better. Enhanced Legend, Rare, Burly Body, and Diamond Body. Let's go. That's rare isn't rare lucky. Okay, so Diamond Body and Lucky are better. That's good. Diamond Body buffed. Nocturnal passive skill has been renamed Insomnia upon respawning. Players now are select for okay. So they buffed the Burly Body and they buffed Lucky. They buffed Burly Body finally. A buff to Burly Body. Base pals and party pals no longer lose sanity when taking damage. That's wow. Wow, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. That's really good. This might be a buff for raids, party pals. Increase it, Regen Stamina. Jet Lovander is now a dark type. Reduce negative status effects because of a hunger fraction of this health. So this is better. This is quality of life for raids. Improvements to combat. Major rework of player motions. Change the dodge action perform while attacking enemy to a dash. Okay. While not attacking or aiming, the character will perform the additional rolling action. Okay, attacks can now be performed while dashing. This all places transition to attacks while maintaining momentum. This is really good. This is huge. Reloading will now continue without being interrupted during dodge actions. Okay, so really good. Really just quality of life. Makes the player stronger. Controls now remain responsive during rolling. Pal active skills. Rebalance the power behavior cooldowns of nearly all active skills. That's awesome. Holy Burst, which previously dealt excessive damage, had its count capped. Its power has been adjusted to 700, bringing its actual damage closer to previous levels. In addition, the power of top-tier active skills over their balance have been slightly increased to bring in line with Holy Burst. Based on this new power structure, the overpower of other active skills are being substantially increased. Following a comprehensive damage rebalance, pals in a party can now deal damage equal to or greater than the player. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go, pal DPS. Additionally, the usability of certain active skills, such as Dragon Meteor, has been improved. New active skills. Not only new pals, but also existing pals that have new unique active skills. So Fuddler has a unique attack that burrows on the ground and bursts from beneath. Saren has a charge attack. Broncherie has a water tackle attack. Existing pals have new skills, so this is going to be awesome. We got to check out Palladius and Valets to see if they got new active skills. New tower boss mechanics are improved. Each tower boss revamped tower in unique visual design. Some tower bosses have been given new motions and skills. New tower boss battles will require different tactics compared to previous encounters. We'll see about that, Pocket Pair. New attack command for pals. Attack that enemy to mouse wheel. Okay. Wild pal combat improvements. Dog type pals can now bite while attacking. Horse type pals can now perform improved charge attacks. So this is for wild pal types. Fast moving pals may step back or reposition themselves while attacking. So now this is wild pal behavior, or a little better than just stand there. New tiers for arena. I told you guys that if they nerf Hartalis, you got to get an arena team. I'll show you that on a video later today. Other adjustment improvements. I've adjusted party pals so they more easily target enemies near the player. This is captured NPCs now use their original weapons. This is great. Buff for human teams. Adjusted hit detection of swords, katanas, beam swords. Adjusted hit count of certain skills. This is more skill rebalance. Adjust fixed an issue with homing skills with continuous circle targets. Good. Some large pals now have the heavyweight passive skill, no longer susceptible to knockback. Okay. Improved NPC combat AI. Added a warning message with the currently equipped weapon overheat. This is kind of annoying. Heat and cold resistant values for Hexalite tier. Okay. Flinch resistance, knockback resistance, and explosion resistance can now be obtained through cooking. Okay, flinch resistance, a big one for pals. Improved melee attack controls for more intuitive handling. Okay, while toggling sprint. Sprinting without me intent perform a dodge. Okay, that's good. That means that sprints retains even after a dodge. Adjusted behavioral behavior when dodging during a dash. You can now clear your wanted status by avoiding detection for a certain period of time. Okay, good. So you can just hide. NPCs no longer immediately become hostile when immediately accidentally attack. Okay, pursuit can be disengaged. Updated default world settings. On hard difficulty, player damage has been adjusted. On normal difficulty, players will no longer drip items. So thank you. This is big. Nobody likes dropped items on normal. So the default setting for normal, you no longer drop your gear. New equipment and items. Wing pack. We saw this in the leak. Plasma multi-cutter, a new gathering tool, has been added. This is to cut while riding for resource gathering. New weapons added and increased weapon slots. 13 new weapons have been added. It doesn't say how many weapon slots. I'm guessing we have more in the menu. Mechanical bow, combat SMG, prototype shotgun, heavy assault rifle. Oh, this is new gear. This is new gear. So basically, it's basically a new tier. The new Sorelite ingot tier for the new weapons. Beam scatter, beam weapon for close quarters. So this is a shoddy. Drone launcher, this one's going to be GG for raids. Can deploy up to 9 drones simultaneously. You use this in raids for sure. You deploy autonomous combat rolls while you fight on your pal. Plasma rifle. Rifle that releases electrical arcs from point of impact chain in between multiple enemies. Beam launcher. High density energy beam. Causes an explosion. Be careful not to overheat it. I think this is the ultimate level 80 weapon, and the plasma rifles have 78 or so. Enhanced Lily Spear has been added. Melee weapon for late game use. So we have an end game Lily Spear. New armor, ancient series helm, armor and shield. So new ancient series of armors. New accessories, 44 new accessories. Such as the combat baton that strengthens party pals and the airwalker. So more buffs to party pal players, pal tamers like me, that don't really rely on weapons. New mats, new implants, usable at the operating table. It's consumed on use but grant more powerful passive skills. Okay, so you don't get to do it whenever, but it is a one-time use. Sorelite, so new mats. New mats again. Nutrients, a consumable item. When using a pallet player, hunger no longer decreases, so it stops hunger. Added 2 new high-tier pal spheres. Training manual can be crafted from ancient pal manuscript. Okay, let's move on to base and building. New building parts. Okay, we're gonna skip this. This is for the base people. Improvements to work pals, improvements to UI and facilities, new utility buildings, adjustments and improvements for repairs. This is good, but I'm not really worried. So raids and raid-based defense. So check it out. Major rework of the raid system. This is good. I'm assuming it's going to get buffed because they really need it. The level of the enemies now automatically scales according to the level of work pals assigned to the deployed base. This means that you're going to need strong base pals. If you have level 10 suitability work pals, it's going to be up. So as a result, base defense instructions and the placement of work base are now more important than ever. This means that we need to buff base pals now to be strong. Enemies will now attack in successive waves. Okay, so you need to, it's wave-based system. This makes defense a lot better. A negotiator who can cancel raids will now visit your base. By paying gold coins, you can prevent an upcoming raid from occurring. Okay, interesting. So good base locations are even better. Multiplayer. Voice chat, improved guild features, in-game chat server play, Discord integration, other adjustments for multiplayer and co-op. Balance overhaul. Experience gain has been rebalanced. Capture probability has been rebalanced. Gold rebalance. Gold from treasures has been rebalanced. Crafting and equipment. What is this? Just a material requirement. So, okay, for rebalance of crafting and equipment requirements, just making the curve a bit easier. Accessories has been rehauled. So now we don't have... So they removed +1 and +2, and the performance of existing +0 has been increased to the equivalent +2. Okay, so method for obtaining accessories have been changed from acquiring them as physical items to crafting them from schematics. Schematics, okay, so now we need schematics from accessories. That's big. Wow. So basically...
Living spaces.
Todo o nada. Así somos. We don't just dream.
We need the +0 accessories. That's kind of weird. So now the +2 is the base, and you need +3 and +4 from schematics is what I'm understanding. We're going to need to recraft the accessories. New shops and rewards. New content of the shops. New expedition rewards. That's great. Enemy, we do have a new expedition from the new towers, obviously. Enemy boss placement adjustment. High difficulty content adjustment. In line with player cap increasing to 80, with reviews and adjusted appropriate levels and difficulty of high difficulty content, including raid bosses, tower bosses. Okay, so they rebalanced everything around level 80 for some of them. Research laboratory has new levels, so this is important. Guys, max this out. Don't skip on the research laboratory. New items for the metal merchant with dot coins. I'm going to visit. This is important. I'm going to do this first thing because I have a lot of dot coins. I told you guys to farm the dot coins. Technology rebalance. Reviewed unlock levels of technology and added many new crafting materials. Other adjustments that improve. So fishing spots. New high difficulty fishing spots with Sun Reach and World Tree. The chance of catching alpha pals from fishing ponds have been increased. Fishing bait. I'm not interested in. Lucky pals can now provide work survivability. I think Lucky got buffed. Lucky pals in current early game will no longer possess successive powers, so skill set rebalance are Lucky. Looks like early game stuff. UI and UX improvements. This is great, but we're not going to cover this. I'm just interested really in the combat and the story and the progression stuff. Character creation improvements. Improvements for the title screen. Build and UI. Graphics. That's good. Sound. That's great. We're going to skip over this stuff. More sound stuff. More bug fixes. We're going to skip over this because this is getting egregious. It's very long. And I really want to cover a bunch of things. So again, mods. Just uninstall the mods. After more than 2 years of their access, Pal would finally official release. This is it, boys and girls. This is it. Let me know what you guys think, especially about the combat and the progression and the story stuff. I will leave you guys the link down below. I am going to jump right in to raids and tower bosses and giving you guys an overview of everything that I can find. I'm happy to join you guys on an adventure for Pal World 1.0 the rest of this week. I will leave the link down below for the patch notes so you can go through this odyssey of patch notes yourself. And let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave me a like and leave me a comment if you enjoyed my overview. I will see you guys very soon on the next one.
Huh?
Yeah. Look at the place you've got here, Chet Raggin. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so easy. What is this? Ancient sphere.
Huh. Huh. Ha. Huh. Yeah. Ha. Ha.
3K, 30K. And how much do you buy it for?
Ha. Yeah. Heh. Ah. Yeah. Ha.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm. Hmm. 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 Ah. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Ugh. Ha. Ugh.
Hey.
Ha. Ah. Ha. Ha.
Hmm.
Whoa!
Yay!
What?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Ha! Ha!
Huh. Hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Ha! Ha! Ah!
Hmm.
Ha!
Mm. Mm.
Hey.
Hmm. Hmm. Huh.
Huh?
Hmm. Hey.
Huh. 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 Ugh.
Ha ha.
Ah. Ha. Ah. Ah. Ha. 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 Ah. Yeah. Ha. Ha.
Oh.
Ha. Ugh. Ha. Ha. Ah. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Ugh. Huh. Ah. Ugh.